new portion to this chapter, but 3 to 4 times I have covered this before you. So now we'll see what is urban history. So, my dear friends, before going to tell something about the urban history, what is your minimum understanding regarding urban history? Can anyone tell me what do you understand by urban history? My dear friends, anyone? At least you tell me yes or no, then I can proceed easily. Then Diganta,
Sir, you proceed. You proceed, sir.
no, proceed Biswajit, Rajiv. Wait,
Sir,
proceed. I
what
will
is the
I will
question?
proceed. Yes, yes. Niharika?
What is the question, sir?
No. I want to know what do you understand by urban? Anyway, one thing I want to make you clear, when we are thinking about urban, definitely another word come to our mind, that is rural. First thing is urban and second thing is rural. And in rural, when we tell about the rural history, we know something about the travel history. We know something about their living conditions, their um, inhabitants area, their food, dress, everything. We have some idea because we have already seen about the civilization of the Harappan Vedic civilization and the later Vedic civilization. So here your chapter is what is urban history. Today more people live in cities than in villages. So today we are preparing this is our culture. This is our culture of India and particularly the culture of our Odisha, that we prefer to live in cities rather than in villages. And the chief reason, the chief motive or the chief goal of this was that we are getting so many scopes regarding education, regarding health, regarding sanitation, regarding our job. So everything is the main focus. That's why we are interested to live in cities than in villages, because in villages we are not able to get the minimum requirements. So this is the main cause or motive why we prefer to live in urban or cities. So today more people live on cities than in villages. In the pre-modern world, you see, in the pre-modern world, a very small percentage of population lived in cities. So before the modern world, very few people were interested to live in cities. The reason is that when the ruling class family was in the center or was in the town or cities, naturally the people belonging to that ruling class, they were only staying with the kings or the queens or the administrators. And the other peoples, they do not like to live in the cities. So now we'll discuss what were the main points. So in the pre-modern world, a very small percentage of population lived in cities. There was a time when cities did not exist. So you see, there was a time When the cities did not exist, people lived in forest settlements and agricultural villages. So what happened? The people they prefer to live in village settlements and agricultural villages. What was the reason? About 5,000 years ago, cities emerged in Iraq, Egypt, and Indus Valley. So you see how the cities originated or how the cities came into existence, and among them, that is Iraq, Egypt, and fortunately in India also, that was the Indus Valley. Then evolution came in human history and emergence of cities come into existence. And from Iran, Egypt, and Indus Valley, gradually the cities they emerged, they flourished. Today we have reached a stage when people in cities outnumber those in villages. So you see what is the situation in today's life. Now people are living happily in cities rather than in villages. From the earliest to the latest, cities have been the greatest point of concentration of humans and their social relationship. You see, cities have been the greatest point of concentration of humans and their social relationship. The concentration of women and men have displayed the urban art, architecture in temples, sculpture, tombs, and palaces, public spectacles, religious and military processions, and philosophical dispensations were part of the experience of the city. So what happened? In cities, we will get everything. But in villages, we will not get anything like art, architecture, sculpture, or in or the philosophical doctrines, the military processions, and everything is not possible to get in the villages. Cities have been the scenes of, though you see, cities have also been the scenes of violence, crime, and the exploitation of urban masses. So you see, though this is the main focus that we are getting art, architecture, sculpture, literature, health, sanitation, everything in the cities, but on the dark side of the cities, that there is everyday crimes, violence, exploitation is there in the city life. Once the city came into existence, nobody could be indifferent to it. Cities seems to be the structure of a biological evolution. Cats and dogs are considered as an urban outlook. You see what happened. Even the cats and the dogs, those who are living in the cities, they have also the urban outlook. You see, try to understand the word, the cats and the dogs. जो माने even कुकुर ଆଉ बिल्ली, those who are living in the towns, those who are living in the urbans, they have different outlook. They naturally they will differ from the dogs and the cats of the urban centers and the village dogs and the cats of the villages. So you see how they have made a comparison. So also the life of the people in the cities and the life of the people of the villages, they are quite different to each other. So now we'll make a classification. So what is the urban center? Mohinder and Newark. You see how they have made a comparison. One is Mohinder from Indus Valley and another is Newark in America. Mohinder and Newark, two cities, are both called urban centers. You see these two cities, Newark and the Mohinder. Compared to rural settlement, urban centers have a larger population. So when you will take the village life, naturally the urban centers has a large number of people they were living. Higher population density and greater social heterogeneity are the character of the towns or the urban centers. Heterogeneity means diverse in character. In villages, one will not get the heterogeneity or the diverse of the characters of the humans. But in urban centers, we will get it. Did you understand this point or not? When we will go to a town, naturally we will get everything. When say we will go to the electrical shop, we will go to the dress shop, can go to the ration, we can purchase everything and we can sell also everything. But in a village life, it is not possible. I think you are clear now. Anything, Niharika?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Clear or not clear?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
The members of the urban community engaged in activities are not directly related to food production. You see, the members of the urban community engaged in activities, those who are not directly related to food production. Suppose, I can give you an example, farmers. Farmers are directly engaged with the agriculture. But in towns, we will not get the direct related to food production. These activities consist of social, cultural, industrial, commercial, religion, artistic, educational, military, political, administrative functions. So these are all the activities of a town life. It requires people having different kinds of skills. So the people, those who are living in towns, naturally they have different kinds of skills. Individuals performing economic, religious, and political roles need each other to survive. So what happened? The different skills people, they naturally what happened? They need each other to survive in the society. That means everyone comes forward to help each other in a city life. Officials like kings, ministers, generals, and priests manage to concentrate considerable power in their hands. So those who are living in the cities, what happened in the pre-modern world? The kings, ministers, general, priests, they concentrate considerable power in their hands. Thus, it gives rise to a powerful and powerless classes. So, what happened in towns? We will get two kinds of people. One is very powerful, and another is a powerless class. Every urban center is characterized by the presence of the powerful, rich, living in the lap of luxury, and poor, outcast, performing unpleasant but necessary tasks like cremating the dead, cleaning the stairs, and removing night soil. You see what happened. In towns or in urban centers, generally we will get two types of people. One is very rich, those who are living a very luxurious life. And the other is very poor, those who are not getting even food. But both are closely related to each other. So what is the duty of the poor? Even the poor, they are going to cremate the dead bodies. They are going to clean the drains. They are going to clean the state roads. So naturally what happened? Both are complementary and supplementary to each other. The primary functions of an urban center are activities like administration, ritual service, and trade. Urban centers are home to rich and poor, rulers and the ruled, buyers and the sellers. So naturally, what happened? Urban centers are the home. It is a home to rich and poor, the rulers and the ruled, the buyers and the sellers. So this is the center. Whereas in villages we will not get such type of persons. Craftsmen, traders, urban players engaged in agriculture societies that were the socially stratified and politically organized. Urban centers arranged by the rulers, craft specialists, merchants, and the rich people converged in a small geographical area. So what happened? Every kinds of people, the rich and the poor, the those who are living higher status, and the other people, those who are not getting even food, they are living in a small geographical area, and that is known as the urban. So that is known as the urban center. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me, my dear friends. Any doubt? Bishojit, Bishojit. So now we have discussed about the urban centers, how they have made a comparison between New York and the Indus Valley, and we have also seen when the urban centers came into existence from Iraq, Egypt, and Indus Valley. Now, as we have seen that urban centers are full of rich and poor peoples, the rulers and the ruled, and they are concentrated in a small geographical area. So now we'll see what is surplus. So rulers, priests, craftsmen, and traders depend on agriculturists to produce the food. So what happened? The persons, the rich class, the rulers, the priests, the craftsmen, and traders, everyone depend on the agriculturist. That means the farmers. Pre-modern cities were mercilessly exploited the rural surroundings. So pre-modern cities. So if you go to the pre-modern cities, so what happened? They exploited the rural surroundings for food. Part of this produce was gradually taken away to cities. So what happened? Part of the produce, what they were producing in the agriculture food, gradually it was exploited by the rulers. The food that is shipped on up to cities is called surplus. So you see, what is surplus? The food gradually they are going to the towns is known as surplus food, whether they have enough or not enough, whether they have plenty or not plenty, that does not matter. The foods that is shipped off to cities, shipped off means gradually they going to the cities. Suppose ଆମେ କଣ କଲେ ଗାଁରେ ପରିବା ଚାଷ କଲେ, ରେଗୁଲାର ଆମେ କଣ କରୁଛେ ନା ପରିବା ଯାକ ଆମେ ନେଇକିରି ଟାଉନରେ ବିକୁଛେ, in order to get some money or in order to get some profit, and that food is known as a surplus. ଆମେ କହିପାରିବା ଯେ ସେଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଧରିନିଅ ଆମ ଗାଁରେ ମୁଗ ଭଲ ହଉଛି, ହେଲେ ମୋର ଅନ୍ୟ ମୁଗ ଭଲ ହେଇଛି ଆଉ ମୋର 5 ନଉତି ମୁଗ ଆଦାୟ ହେଇଛି, ମୁଁ କଣ କଲି ମତେ ପଇସା ଦରକାର ଅଛି, ମୁଁ 3 ନଉତି ମୁଗ କଣ କଲି ଟାଉନକୁ ନେଇକିରି ମୁଁ ବିକିଦେଲି. So that amount of food or surplus cereals is known as a surplus. ସେ surplus food ଟା ମତେ ଦରକାର ହେଇପାରେ, କିନ୍ତୁ ମୁଁ ଯୋଉଟା ନେଇକରି ବାହାରେ ବିକି ଦଉଛି that is known as a surplus. So ଯଦି ଏଇଟା ବୁଝିଲ ତାହେଲେ ମତେ କୁହ, ନହେଲେ again I will tell you. বিশ্বজিৎ,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
বুঝা পড়লা? The food, try to understand particular this sentence. The food that is siphoned off to cities is called surplus. Surplus does not mean that produce over and above the requirements of the cultivators. That means it was not ever and above of the requirement of the farmers or the cultivators. এইটা ମୋର ଦରକାର ହବ କି ନାହିଁ ବୋଲି ମୁଁ କହିପାରୁନାହିଁ। ମୋର ମୁଗ ଆଦାୟ ହଉଛି ବା ମୋର ଚାଉଳ ଧାନ ଆଦାୟ କରୁଛି, ମୁଁ ଏ ବର୍ଷ 3 ମଣ ଆଦାୟ କରୁଛି, ମତେ 3 ମଣଟା ଦରକାର, କିନ୍ତୁ ମୋର ପଇସା ଦରକାର ଅଛି, ମୁଁ ନେଇକି 2 ମଣ ବାହାରେ ବିକି ଦଉଛି। ଯଦିଓ ଏଇଟା ମତେ ପଛେ ଦରକାର ହୋଇଥାନ୍ତା, କିନ୍ତୁ ମତେ ଦରକାର ହବ କି ନ ହବ that does not matter, but ଯେହେତୁ ମୁଁ ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ବିକି ଦଉଛି that is known as a surplus. I think I am clear. Yes. Whether
sir.
it is okay, Supali.
Sir, yes, sir, କହିଲି।
Whether it is the product, whether it is the produce brought to the city from the village, it is possible that the villagers might have needed that food. So what happened? ସେ ଯୋଉ ଗାଁରୁ ଯୋଉ ନେଇକିରି ବିକି ଦଉଛନ୍ତି, ସେ ଗାଁରେ ଥିଲେ ଭବିଷ୍ୟତରେ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ଦରକାର ହେଇଥାନ୍ତା, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ ଜିନିଷରେ ଆମେ ବଦଳ ହେବା ଉଚିତ ନୁହଁ, ଯେହେତୁ ସେଟା ସିଏ ବାହାରେ ବିକି ଦଉଛି, that is known as a surplus. Urban centers develop a variety of institutional mechanism to extract food from the villages. So another interesting thing is that the urban centers, they played different roles how to extract food from the villages, because in the towns, the town people, they are not directly linked to the production, so they are using different kinds of techniques to extract the food from the rural people. You see, laws, traditions, belief systems backed by military force were used to transfer agriculture produce to cities. So even before the pre-modern time, what happened? They were using different kinds of laws. They were using different kinds of traditions, beliefs, and even if need, they used military force to extract the produce, the agricultural produce to the cities. ଧନ୍ୟ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ ଭଲ ଧାନ ହେଇଛି ବା ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ ଗୋଟେ ଭଲ ବାସନା ଚାଉଳ ହେଇଛି, ଏବଂ ଯୋଉମାନେ ରୁରାଲ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ ଭିଲେଜ ଲୋକମାନେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦେବା ପାଇଁ ରାଜି ନୁହନ୍ତି। ସେଟା କଣ କରିବ? ଦ ରୁଲର୍ସ ଇମିଡିଏଟଲି ସେମାନେ କଣ କରିବେ ନା ରଜାଙ୍କର ସୈନ୍ୟ ଯାଇକିରି ସେ ଚଷା ଘରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିବେ ଏବଂ ତାକୁ ବଳପୂର୍ବକ ନିଜକୁ ଧରିକିରି ଆସିବେ। So these are all known as the surplus food. A town was like a huge stomach. You see, try to underline the words. A town was like a huge stomach. Scholars believe that the city acts a container, meaning that the concentration of rulers and rule, merchants and buyers, priests and devotees in a small geographical area. So it is urban centers means what? It is a large stomach. Everything will be put on that stomach. So it is a container. They have also given a new word. Urban center is a container. That means concentration of the rulers and rule, merchants and buyers, and priests and devotees in a small geographical area. The human groups that existed earlier were called kinship-based societies. So what happened in our early India? what happened? The village people, they are linked with the kinship based. That means blood relation. Suppose ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ବଂଶ ଅଛି ଧନ୍ୟ ସାହୁ ବଂଶ, ସାହୁ ଡାଇନେଷ୍ଟି। ସୋ ସାହୁ ଡାଇନେଷ୍ଟିରେ କଣ ହେଇଛି ନା ଗାଁରେ ପ୍ରାୟ 20-30 ଘର ଅଛନ୍ତି। That means we are related with the kinship based. That means blood relation. It is otherwise called tribal society. So it is otherwise also called the tribal society. Tribal societies are organized on a principle that all the members of the community are related to each other. So tribal societies are organized in a such a way that all are related to each other. So you see, when you are listening the word tribal, we are generally we are not giving any importance to it, but they were maintaining a very fundamental principle that they are related to each other, by which one will not get in the urbans. In state societies, the web of kinship system is modified to give opportunities to a few families to have wealth and enforce special control over human and natural resources. You see, he made a comparison in state societies and in the villages. In the state societies, what happened? Very few rich persons are there. Those who can control the human and natural resources. States are based on the concentration of power and wealth in the hands of kings, priests, and traders. So, where the urban center is there, naturally, wealth is concentrated to a limited persons like kings, priests, and traders. The powerful members of the state societies are hungry for various craft products because exotic goods from distant lands add to their prestige and power. You see, it is very, very interesting. The powerful members of state societies, that means the people of urban societies, are hungry for various craft products because exotic goods from distant land add to their prestige and power. You see, I am giving you an interesting example. Kandhamal area, you also my dear friends, anyone from Kandhamal area? Hello, my dear learners. Anyone from Kandhamal district or Kandhamal area? No one. Hello?
I think no, sir.
No, acha. Baudh someone is there, I think. Baudh jane ke thila. Anyway, you see, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ କନ୍ଧମାଳ ଏରିଆକୁ ଯିବା, ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟିଂ ଥିଙ୍ଗ ହେଲା କଣ ନା କନ୍ଧମାଳର ହଳଦୀ, କନ୍ଧମାଳର ମାନେ ଅଦା, କନ୍ଧମାଳର ପାଳୁଅ, କନ୍ଧମାଳର ନେକ୍ସଟ ଆସିଲା ଇଏ ଆମ ଝୁଲଣ ମଞ୍ଜି ହେଲା। ଦିଜ ଆର୍ most demanding items for the urban people. ଏବେ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ ମୋ କଥା କହୁଛି, ଆଜିକି ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରାୟ 30 ବର୍ଷ ହେଲା ମୁଁ କନ୍ଧମାଳରୁ ଫୁଲ ଛାଞ୍ଚୁଣି, ସୋରିଷ, କାନ୍ଦୁଲ, ହଳଦୀ, ଅଦା I am collecting and I am not depending for it in my local town. ଏବେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ବିରି ରହିଗଲା ହେଲା। ମୁଁ କାହିଁ କରୁଛି ନା ଏ ସବୁର ଟେଷ୍ଟ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ସମଥିଙ୍ଗ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ। ଆମେ ଟାଉନରେ ଏସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ପାଇବା ନାହିଁ। ହେଲେ ଏଇଠି ସିଏ ଯୋଉ କହୁଛି, ଏବେ ଧରିନିଅ ଗୋଟେ ମଜା କଥାରେ ମୁଁ କହୁଛି, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ଯେକୌଣସି ଅଫିସକୁ ଯାଉ ଫର ଅଫିସିଆଲ ୱାର୍କ, ଆମର ଲୋକାଲରେ କଣ ହୁଏ ନା ଭଲ ବାଇଗଣ ଭଲ ବାଇଗଣ ମାନେ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ କ୍ଲାସ ବାଇଗଣ ଯୋଉଟା କି ରେୟାର ଇନ୍ ଓଡ଼ିଶା। ଏବଂ ସେମାନେ ଆମକୁ କହିଥିବେ ବାଇଗଣ କିଲୋ 2 କିଲୋ ନେଇଯିବା ପାଇଁ। ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ୟାଗରେ ଗୋଟେ ମିନିମମ୍ 5-7 କେଜି ରହିଲା ବେଳେ ତାକୁ ନେଇଯାଇଥିବୁ। ଆମର ଏଠି ଦାମ ହବ ମ୍ୟାକ୍ସିମମ୍ ସେ 5 କେଜି ଦାମ ଗୋଟେ 25-30 ଟଙ୍କା ହବ ହେଲା। Whereas in Bhubaneswar that is more than 500 rupees and it was very difficult to get it. ବୁଝା ପଡିଲା ମୁଁ କହିବା କଥା ପିଲାମାନେ? ଆମର ଏଠି ଯୋଉ ବାଇଗଣଟା ହଉଛି ଗୋଟେ କଣ୍ଟା ବାଇଗଣ ହଉଛି ଇଟ୍ ୱାଜ ଭେରି ଫେମସ୍ ଇନ୍ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ଏବଂ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱରରେ ସେଟା 100 rupees ଦେଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ ମିଳିବ ନାହିଁ। ତେଣୁ ଏ ଯୋଉ ଅର୍ବାନ ସେଣ୍ଟରରେ ଯୋଉ ଲୋକମାନେ ରହିଲେ they are hunger after this food ଏବଂ ଯଦି ଏଗୁଡିକ କିଏ ତାକୁ ନେଇ ଦେଇଗଲା they are very much pleased by getting these items. Did you understand what I am telling my dear friend? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ହେଲା।
Yes, sir.
ହଁ ତେଣୁ ଏ ଯୋଉ କନ୍ଧମାଳ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡିକ ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ କଥା କହିଲି କନ୍ଧମାଳ ବିରି ଦେଖିବ ମାନେ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଭେରି ଭେରି ଟେଷ୍ଟ। ଏବେ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ ଏ ବର୍ଷ 35 କେଜି ମୁଁ କିଣିଛି ହେଲା। ହଳଦୀ ଦେଖିବ ମିନିମମ୍ ଗୋଟେ 10 କେଜି ଖଣ୍ଡେ ମୁଁ କିଣି ଦେଇଥିଲି ହେଲା। ଏ ସବୁ ଯାକ ଆଇଟମ କଣ ହଉଛି କନ୍ଧମାଳର ତାର ଟେଷ୍ଟ ତାର ଯୋଉ ଫ୍ଲେଭର କଥା କୁହାଯାଉଛି ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ସମଥିଙ୍ଗ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ହେଲା। ଏବଂ ତାର ଯୋଉ ଫୁଲ ଧାନ୍ତୁଳି ମିଳୁଛି ତମେ କୋଉଠି ମଧ୍ୟ ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ପାଇବ ନାହିଁ। ମୁଁ ତାକୁ ସେଠି ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କୁ ପଇସା ଆଗକୁ ଦେଇଦେବି ଏବଂ ସେମାନେ ତାକୁ ଆଣିବେ ତାକୁ ଗୋଟେ କେନ୍ରେ ସେମାନେ ଭିଡ଼ିବେ ଭିଡ଼ିକିରି ଆଣିଥିବେ ଏବଂ ଗୋଟେ ଛାଞ୍ଚୁଣି ଯଦି ତମେ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବ ନଟ୍ ଲେସ୍ ଦେନ୍ 6 months it will continue. ଓକେ ସୋ ଏଇଟା ସେ କଥା କହୁଛି କଣ ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ କମ୍ପାରିଜନ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଅର୍ବାନ ଏବଂ ଭିଲେଜରେ କଣ ଏଠି what is the difference between the village and the urban centers. ଯଦିଓ ଅର୍ବାନ ସେଣ୍ଟର ମାନଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ପାୱାର ରହିଲା ଯଦି ତାଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ମନି ରହିଲା ଏବଂ ତାଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ଏଭ୍ରିଥିଂ ଦେ ହେଭ୍ ବଟ୍ ଦ ରୁରାଲ ପିପୁଲରେ କଣ ଅଛି ଏଗୁଡିକ ସେମାନେ କଣ କରନ୍ତି ଏଗୁଡିକ କଲେକ୍ଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ସେମାନେ ତାକୁ ଯତ୍ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ଆସ୍ତି ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ଦରକାର ପଡ଼ିଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆଗ କାଳରେ ମିଲିଟାରୀ ପାୱାର ମଧ୍ୟ ସେମାନେ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରୁଥିଲେ in order to exploit these commodities from the rural people. Okay. For a historian, studying urbanism is that urban centers were like lighthouses, which give us an entry into the happenings in the past. So what happened? It is just a lighthouses, and we can collect informations from urban centers. The state and the class can be better understood if we study the process of urbanization. So when we are going to study the urban history, the evolution of the urbans, we have to depend upon the urbans. We have to go to the urban centers or the urban libraries to get the information. The state and the class can be better understood if we study the process of urbanization. The early urbanism are associated with the invention of writing. So what happened? The early urbanisms are associated with the invention of writing. Writing was the true universal, a form of conversation in which speakers and listeners did not sit face to face. So what happened? You see, writing is such a powerful force. Writing is such a powerful force when speakers and the listeners, they are not sit face to face each other. Writing made possible the storing, feeding and dissemination of knowledge. When we are writing something, that means we are storing, we are able to store everything in that book and feeding and dissemination of knowledge. Writing opened the possibility of new forms of organization of political, economic and religious structure. So what happened? Writing opened the possibility of new forms, the new knowledge of political, social, religious and economic life. So this is all about the surplus. So now we'll see what is urban history. Anything, any doubt, my dear friend? Any doubt? No. Now we'll see what is urban history. Urbanization refers to population shift from rural to urban areas. So when we are telling about the urbanization or the urban history, generally what we will think that population shift from rural to urban areas. It also refers to the process by which rural world produce a new kind of a settlement called city. So, in the pre-modern period, what happened? There was no city life. Generally, what happened? The people they shifted from city they shifted from villages to city. Naturally, it is called the urban life. Urban history is an inquiry into the economic, political, social, and others that created the form of a settlement. So what happened? So urban history is an inquiry into the economic, political, social, and others that created the form of a settlements. So whenever we are going to read about the urban history, generally what we do, we try to know about the political, the economic life, the social life, and how and why they took interest to live in the urbans. So this is all about the urban history. Now we'll see urbanism is an interdisciplinary project. Urbanism requires a comparative and interdisciplinary method of study. Interdisciplinary method. Try to understand. This field has evolved in the last 100 years. So this field, that means it is an interdisciplinary project. That means it has more than one branch. It is not confined with only one branch. That means it is more than one branch, which is known as the interdisciplinary method of study. This field has evolved in the last 100 years. For example, water supply to the city of Delhi, you see. Here they have taken an example, water supply to the city of Delhi. So, how the city has a pool water not only from the Jamuna but from the distant Ganga and beach rivers. So, what happened? Whenever we are going to a urban center, first we will give stress about the water. And you see how they are exploiting water from the 100 kilometers from the residents. So when Delhi is not exploiting our pool water, not only from Jamuna, but also from the distant Ganga and beach rivers, it requires us to understand how Delhi is able to override the water requirements. So in Delhi, water is very, very scarce. It is not easy to get water in Delhi, which is available in villages. It is also so a study of unequal water distribution of different areas inside Delhi. So in Delhi also you will not get plenty of water everywhere. In some places the water is very scarce, and in some places where water is profusely you will get. So it also shows of negotiations of power and skill of engineering. It also says about the supply of electricity to Delhi from different parts of North India. So when we will go to the problem of water, we will also notice the supply of electricity to different to Delhi from different parts of India. It also says that it also says what Delhi gives in return for the resources it consumes. It requires an understanding of literature, art, and film and other things. So what happened? So when we will see about the history of Delhi, about the water supply, generally we will come across different kinds of fields like understanding of literature, art, architecture, sculpture, photography, film and others. ଗୋଟେ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟିଂ କଥା ମୁଁ କହୁଛି ପିଲାମାନେ ଏ ଯୋଉ ଦିଲ୍ଲୀ କଥା ମୋର ମନେ ପଡିଲା ମୁଁ ଯାଇଥିଲି ମୁଁ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟରେ ଦିଲ୍ଲୀ ଗଲି 1990 ମସିହାରେ ହେଲେ ସେଠି ଗଲା ଆସିକି କଣ ହେଇଛି ସେଠି ଦେଖିଲି ଯେ ପାଣି ସବୁ ସେଠି ଲୋକେ କିଣିକିରି ପିଉଛନ୍ତି ହେଲା ଯୋଉଟା କି ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ପାଣି ଆମେ କେବେ କେସ୍ କରିଛି କିଣି ନଥିଲୁ and it was a total new scene for us ଏବଂ ସେଟା ହଉଛି ପାଣି ଯୋଉ ସେମାନେ ଯୋଉ ଗୋଟେ ଯୋଉ ଡଙ୍କିରେ ଦଉଥିଲେ the cost was 25 ପଇସା only 25 ପଇସା ଥିଲା ଏବଂ ଆମେ 3-4 ଜଣ ସାଙ୍ଗ ଯାଇଥିଲୁ ବୁଲିବା ପାଇଁ ଆମେ ଦେଖିକି ସେଠି ବହୁତ ହସିଲୁ ଯେ ଦିଲ୍ଲୀର ଲୋକମାନେ ପାଣି ମଧ୍ୟ କିଣିକିରି ପିଉଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ଆମର ସେତେବେଳେ ଭାବିନଥିଲୁ ଧାରଣା ନଥିଲା ଯେ ଏମିତି ସାରା ଭାରତରେ ଲୋକ ଦିନ ଆସିବ ଲୋକେ ପାଣି କିଣିକିରି ପିଇବେ and you see ଏବେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମ ଟାଉନରେ ଲୋକାଲ ଟାଉନରେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ସବୁ ୱାଟର କିଣିକିରି ପାଉଛେ ୱାଟର ବୋଟଲ କିଣିକିରି ପାଉଛେ ତାର କମ ଲିଟର ପାଣିକି 20 ଟଙ୍କା 25 ଟଙ୍କା ଦେଇକି ମଧ୍ୟ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମେ we are not hesitating to purchase this. So ये जो एक कथा କୁହାଗଲା interdisciplinary project interdisciplinary ତାର ଅର୍ଥ ହେଲା it has more than one branch ଏବଂ ସେଠି ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ନେଲେ ଯେ ୱାଟର ସପ୍ଲାଇ ଇନ ଦିଲ୍ଲୀ ମାନେ ଦିଲ୍ଲୀଟା ଏତେ ଦୂର ଓଭର ପପୁଲେଟେଡ ସେମାନେ ବାଧ୍ୟ ହେଇକିରି hundreds of ଦୂରରୁ ମାଇଲ ଦୂରରୁ they are collecting waters to supply to Delhi people ଏବଂ ସେ ଯୋଉ ଦିଲ୍ଲୀ people କୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଯାଉଛି that was not at all sufficient and ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ ଯୋଉଠି ରୁଲର ମାନେ ରହୁଛନ୍ତି you will get plenty of waters ଏବଂ ଯଦି ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଦୂରକୁ ପଳେଇ ଯିବା and water is scarce there ଏବଂ କେତେକ ଟାଉନ ଅଛି ମୁଁ ଶୁଣୁଥିଲି ଯୋଉଟା କି କାଲକାଟା ଭଳି କେତେଟା ଟାଉନ ଅଛି ଯୋଉଟା କି ସେମାନେ କଣ କରିବେ ନା even they are collecting dirty waters for latrines if they are not getting pure waters for bathing even they are collecting the dirty waters with the minimum price ହେଲା ତମେ ଯଦି ପାଣି ପାଣି ତମେ ବଡ ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ୟାରେଲରେ କିଣିବ 100 ଟଙ୍କା ଦେଇ ବ୍ୟାରେଲରେ କିଣିବ ଏବେ 200 500 ବୋଲି ମୁଁ କହିପାରୁ ନାହିଁ ପାଣି କାହିଁକିନା ଆମେ ଏତେ ଦାଗରୁ କିଣୁ ନୁହେଁ କିନ୍ତୁ କାଲକାଟା ମୁଁ ଯାଇଛି ସେଠି ମଧ୍ୟ ମୋର ସାଙ୍ଗସାଥି ମାନେ କଣ କରିବେ ଏବେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଛୋଟ ବ୍ୟାରେଲରେ ସେମାନେ କିଣିବେ ପ୍ରତିଦିନ 100-200 ଦେଇ କିଣିବେ ଏବଂ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ ଓନ୍ଲି ୟୁଜ୍ଡ ଫର ଡ୍ରିଙ୍କିଂ ପର୍ପଜ ଏବଂ ସେମାନେ ଲାଟ୍ରିନ୍ ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି ଅନ୍ୟମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ କଣ କରିବେ ଡାର୍ଟି ୱାଟର ଦେ ଆଲସୋ କଲେକ୍ଟିଂ ୟୁ ସି ହାଉ ଦେ ଆର ଲିଭିଂ and how they are maintaining their pathetic life. So, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Any doubt? No doubt. So, now we will see urbanism and comparative method. The attempt to identify, analyze, and explain similarities and differences across societies, nations, and continents is called comparative research method. So you see what is comparative method when we are going to analyze or examine or to explain similarities and dissimilarities or differences between the societies, nations and the continents. That means it is a comparative study. It is a crucial for understanding what is common and what is uncommon to all societies. So we have to also see what is common and what is uncommon to all the societies. It helps us observe continuities and change in urban process. The study of food habits, routines of waking, work and sleep, shapes of houses and modes of dress, it have been called structures of everyday life. So what happened? Here I can give you a beautiful example. କ'ଣ ହେଇଛି ନା it is the different styles of urban life, how they are getting, how they are collecting their food, what is their habit of food, everything. ହେଲେ କ'ଣ ହେଇଛି ପିଲାମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ମୁଁ ତମକୁ ବୋଧେ ମୁଁ ଆମର ହିଷ୍ଟୋଗ୍ରାଫିରେ ବୋଧେ କହୁଛି ନା ମୋର ମନେ ପଡୁନାହିଁ। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଯୋଉମାନେ କମ୍ପାନୀରେ ଚାକିରି କରୁଛନ୍ତି and those who are getting 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, and even some of my friends, they are getting more than 1 crore per annum. ହେଲା ମୋ ପାଖକୁ ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ସାଙ୍ଗର ପୁଅ ଆସିଥିଲା, ତାକୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ପଚାରିଲି ତାର ମାସକୁ ଦରମା ହଉଛି 1,07,00,000 ଟଙ୍କା। So naturally we are surprising ନା ନାହିଁ, ଆମକୁ ଆଶ୍ଚର୍ଯ୍ୟ ଲାଗୁଛି ନା ନାହିଁ? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ, ୟେସ୍ ୟେସ୍। ସୋ ଏଇଟା ହଉଛି ଆମେ ଦେଖିଥିଲେ ଯେ they are floating on wealth and they can move at any time, at any day, even to the America or England or Germany, and this is their life. କିନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ other part ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା, କ'ଣ other part ଟା? Even they are not able, they are not getting time to brush their teeth. ମୁଁ ପଚାରିଲି ତାଙ୍କର ଲାଇଫ ଷ୍ଟାଇଲ ପଚାରିଲି, ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କରନ୍ତି ନା ଶୋଇଲେ ଆସିକି ରାତି 2ଟା 3ଟା ହେବ ଏବଂ ସକାଳ 8ଟାକୁ ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କରିବେ, they have to attend the office. So what happens, କ'ଣ କରିବେ ସେମାନେ ନ୍ୟାଚୁରାଲି ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କରିବେ ନା ସକାଳୁ ଉଠି ପଡ଼ିବେ, ବ୍ରସ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ମଧ୍ୟ ସମୟ ନାହିଁ, ତାଙ୍କର ଗାଧୋଇବା କଥା ଛାଡ଼, ବ୍ରସ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ମଧ୍ୟ ସେମାନଙ୍କର ସମୟ ନାହିଁ, ଜଷ୍ଟ ମୁହଁ ଧୋଇଦେବେ, ହାତରେ ମାରିକି ସେମାନେ କୁଳି କରିଦେବେ ଏବଂ ସେମାନେ ସେମିତି ଡ୍ରେସ୍ ଫ୍ରେସ୍ ଟିକେ ପଡ଼ିଦେଇକି ସେମାନେ ଅଫିସ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ ବାଧ୍ୟ। ଏବଂ ଝାଡ଼ା ଯିବା ଆଉ ଗାଧୋଇବା କଥା ସେଟା ଅଲଗା କଥା, ଖାଇବା କଥା ଅଲଗା କଥା। ଏବଂ ସେମାନେ କହିଲେ ସାର୍ ଏଇଟା ହଉଛି ଆମର we are not human beings, rather we are animals in the human world. ତମେ ଚିନ୍ତା କର, ଗୋଟେ ସାଇଡ୍ they are getting crores of rupees and in the other side they are not getting peace. ଏବଂ ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କର ବୟସ 40, they are not able to move or to walk even 100 meters per day. 100 ମିଟର ମଧ୍ୟ ସେମାନେ ଚାଲି ଯାଇ ପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି। they are such a bulky and abnormal person. ହେଲା, ମୁଁ ମୋର ଲୋକାଲ ଟାଉନ କଥା କହୁଛି, ଭଞ୍ଜନଗରରେ so many persons are there, those who are quite ମାନେ abnormal, ତାର ମୁଣ୍ଡ ଆଉ କିଛି କାମ କରୁନି, ଏଟା ଏଜ୍ ଅଫ୍ 40। ହେଲା, this is the dark side of everything. So ଏ ଯୋଉ କଥାଟା କହିଲି, ଏ ଯୋଉ ଅର୍ବାନିଜମ କଥା ମୁଁ କହିଲି, ହେଲା, this is the ଏ ଯୋଉ କହିଲା it have been called the structures of everyday life. This is the structure means ଗଠନ, this is the structures of everyday life of humans. Urban historians have discovered that all cities need resources like food, raw materials, and manpower that are not locally available in sufficient quantities. So you see, urban history, what happened? They want resources like food, raw materials, manpower, and that are not locally available in sufficient quantities. କାରଣ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଟିଭିରେ ଦେଖୁଥିବ ଯେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଯୋଉ ଟମାଟୋ ସସ୍ କେମିତି ସେମାନେ ଆଦାୟ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ସବୁ ପୋଚକା ବୋଇତାଳୁକୁ ନେଇକିରି they are manufacturing tomato sauce, and the cost of tomato sauce for 1 liter is 10 rupees, and it is plentifully used in the hotels or in the dhabas or in the restaurants, and we are giving money. ଏବଂ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଥା ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟିଂ କଥା ମୁଁ କହୁଛି, ଏବେ ମୁଁ ଯାଇଥିଲି ଗୋଟେ ହୋଟେଲକୁ ଯାଇଥିଲି ଖାଇବା ପାଇଁ, ଯୋଉଠିକି ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ବାହାଘର ହଉଥିଲା, ହେଲା, ଏବଂ ମାନେ ବହୁତ ସଜାସଜି ସେଠି ହେଇଛି। ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଖାଇବାକୁ ଗଲୁ, ସେମାନେ ଆମକୁ 2ଟା ପିସ୍ ଛତୁ ଦେଲେ, 2ଟା ପିସ୍ ପନିର ଦେଲେ, ଭାତ 4 ଚାମଚ ଦେଲେ, ଡାଲି ସବଜି ଏମିତି କ'ଣ ଦେଲୁ। ଏବଂ ଦେଖିଲି it is quite useless to take food there. And our quality of food that we are getting in our home and 100% better than that. এবং সে जो plate खाली जो हमको जो plate टा देइथिले खाया भी that cost is not less than 2000 rupees. Whereas এই যে আমরা যদি ঘরে দাও করিবা the cost will only 100 rupees. So this is the precarious condition and you know raw materials, the food, manpower that is not sufficient at the towns. The divide between rich and poor is one of the important characteristics of urban centers. You see, what is the problem in urban centers? There is a gap between rich and poor. A comparative study indicates that competition over land, labor, and capital is intrinsic, means essential to urbanism. So what happened? There was a competition between over the land, or over the space, or over the labor, and over the capital, and it was a day-to-day affairs in the urban centers. This leads to discrimination against the poor, marginalized, women, religious groups, and social minorities. So it is a discrimination against the poor, against the women, against the religious groups, and against the social minorities. You see what happened in our capital, Bhubaneswar. What happened? When you open the TV, every day you will get such type of nuisance task in the society that is prevailing everywhere in the capital. So this is the day-to-day life what they want to say us. So this is all about the urbanism and comparative methods. They have made a comparison between the poor and the rich, between the urban and the rural. So now we'll see histography of urbanism. The study of urbanism began in the late 19th century as an intersection of arts, humanities, and social sciences. So urban history, it came into exist in the late 19th century. So it is a part of art, it is a part of humanities, and it is a part of social science. Every city had an independent personality, at the same time a part of a larger system of urbanization. Every city had an independent personality. Independent personality means, suppose we will go to Delhi, it is a different character. Suppose we will go to Calcutta, it is a different character. Suppose we will go to Bombay, it is a different character. So every city has different qualities. The historian Hobsbawm compared urban history to a variety store. So he wants to tell us it is a variety store. Many historians believe that urban history did not have a field of its own and was merely a stage for a larger historical process. So it is not a merely field. So it has a larger historical process. Urban history is distinctive from social and economic history. It tells the city in its totality: city planned, designed, built, inhabited, appropriated, despoiled, and discarded. So what happened when we want to remain in a city, we will see, or when we will go to have a read, or when we will write about the city life or the history of a city, we will see the city planned or the design, built, inhabited area, and everything we will get there. So, my dear friends, today now it is already 8:20. So, I have a different task. So they have rang me 2 to 3 times. So one thing, please come by 7:05 tomorrow. And if you have any doubt, we will make a proper discussion. Oh, of course, if you have any doubt, we will discuss now. Any doubt, Biswajit? Supali?
No, sir.
So, one thing, so in my next class, so you do at least go through the important points or important headings, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me, because every day I am giving you not less than 10 minutes, 7:05 or 7 to 7:15, I will give you for a discussion. So if you have any doubt, we will discuss, and we will also discuss about the questions and answers. So with this, I am concluding. Tomorrow again we will meet by 7:15. So good night to all.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
ସାର୍ କାଲି କଣ କହୁଥିଲେ 14-15 ରେ କ୍ଲାସ କରିବେନି?
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ, ସେଟା କଣ ହେଇଛି ମାନେ ଆମର ତ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି 8 ରୁ କ୍ଲାସ ଦବାର